Hello and welcome back to the ACSC Podcast. Back again, obviously, thanks for all the support again on episode 2. The viewing numbers have been just as good as the first episode. And we're back again with Warren. And this week we've got Tom back again. So if you saw season 1, you would have remembered him from some of his brilliant stories about his time at Watford with a suit, which was a brilliant story. He's the manager at Hitchin Town SCFC, I have to say. Can't say the other one, otherwise it's going to cause a lot of beef and stuff like that, but we can't do that. But we're going to start off with a new question we're going to run, and I'll let Tom introduce himself before we get into it, and I'll let Warren do his intro as well.
Sweet. So hello everyone, I'm back again. They let me back. I am the manager of Hitchin Town SCFC, and we play in the Hitchin Sunday League Division 3.
Bro. So we've got a running theme we're going to start for new guests and going forward. It's going to be your ultimate six-a-side team. So it's a pretty simple base. You can have past, present players, whoever you want, but you have to include yourself in there. So you can have 5 others around yourself. I've got mine. We'll let Tom start it and he can kick it off.
Okay, so 6-a-side.
Yes.
Right, so we will play. We'll go for a 2-2-1.
Okay.
In goal.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go for David Seaman.
Yeah.
Invincibles, I don't need to say anymore.
Yeah.
Right, 2 defenders. This is very tricky. I'm gonna throw Vidic in there.
Yeah.
Thought he was solid when he was in the Premier League. Partnered Ferdinand really well.
Yeah.
And I think they bought him for really cheap, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah, it was pretty cheap.
Like stupidly cheap. So on the base of value,
yeah,
considering it from what he was to one of the best defenders in the Premier League history,
yeah,
he gets the nod. I would also go for. Oh, this is really hard. You throw me under the bus already. Gonna go for Bobby Moore.
Okay.
World Cup winning team, only England team to ever do it. Captain on the side, although there's not many highlight videos of him on YouTube. The credential speaks for himself.
Yeah.
So I put Bobby Moore at the back as well. Midfield, I play myself.
Yeah.
And then I would have. So I'm more of a defensive player, so I'd like more of an attacking midfielder. So I would go for. Number 10, Ronaldinho.
Ronaldinho, yeah.
The feet, the magic, tore teams to pieces on his own. Speaks for himself.
Yeah.
And then up front, Thierry Henry, without a shadow of a doubt, he's my footballing idol. So there's no arguments there. And then other striker, I'm going to go for. I'm going to try to go for someone that's not maybe mainstream or someone that everyone would pick. So I'm going to go with. I'm going to go for Raul. Okay. Reason being is that I believe he's one of, if not, Real Madrid's top goal scorers.
Yeah.
If I'm not wrong. His goals, I think his goals to game ratio is mental. And as he was part of that team that won those sort of Champions Leagues, he led the line, captained the side, and he left such a massive legacy. I think he goes sort of under the radar a bit when people talk about sort of world-class strikers. I don't think he gets mentioned as much as he should, so I'd throw him there.
Pretty solid team, I'll admit. I like it.
What did you go with?
Well, mine. Okay, we'll go with mine. So in goal, I've got Rodrigo Senni. I don't know if any of you know who he was.
The goalkeeper that takes free kicks?
Yeah, so I want a man who can do a bit of both. He can save it, and then he's just going to ping it top bins sometimes.
Yeah.
I've got Ramos at the back, because I wanted a bit of a nasty person in there as well. I've got to admit, you've got to have that bit of dirtiness in six-a-side. Got to be done. In like the CDM role, I'm playing a 1-3-1. I'm having me as a bit of the CDM. I haven't got the legs to play up front anymore.
No, I know that. Yeah, second time round the page of I know that.
So having that wide, I'm having Andre Arshavin. He was probably my footballing idol as I was growing up. It was the reason I was number 23 at every club I played at. And obviously, a bit of a fact for Warren, he scored 4 at Anfield. If you don't remember that one.
Oh, he's wearing a Liverpool top as well. Oh, sorry.
And then I've Messi on the other side. He was my other footballing idol growing up. And then I have Ronaldo, not Cristiano, the Brazilian Ronaldo. You cannot go about that man. I think if you play FIFA as well, the bloke is unreal on FIFA. Absolute animal. And then Warren.
Wow. Have we got to include ourselves?
Yeah, you got to be in there somewhere.
Me as goalkeeper then.
Okay.
Yeah, obviously never played 11 aside, but what was it? Probably 4 years ago, we won the 6-side title in Whitney for about 3-4 years.
Yeah.
Defender. I said to you I wasn't going to put Van Dijk, but I think I'm going to have to.
Yeah.
For what he's done coming into Liverpool and can transforming it for us to be going up there to challenge kind of every year. Unfortunately, obviously with his injury at the moment, don't know, but he's just done it for us, unfortunately.
Yep.
Midfield, Stevie G.
Okay.
One of the most talented footballers you'd probably see, but with unfortunately just didn't get the amount of trophies that he probably deserved. With those most important goals he scored was unbelievable. We'd have the same player.
The same player?
The same player as in, obviously, your two.
Oh, yeah, of course. If I've said someone, yeah, of course.
Probably Ronaldinho with him.
Yeah.
6 aside, I reckon he just ripped teams to shreds.
Well, he's been doing it in prison, hasn't he? I saw him doing that out there.
He's been doing everything in prison.
Even Champions League, when he was playing against Chelsea, he just taught a new one.
Yeah.
And how can, from a player with the amount of skill, how can you do a perfect pass by turning your back?
Yeah.
Different level. Different level.
Right, so no. Oh, actually, I might play 2 up top.
2 up top, yeah.
That one's hard. Probably Cristiano Ronaldo. He's done it for years now. So good, pacey, strength, can header a ball, can hit a ball. Just a complete all-rounder. And then second one. Used to always buy him on Football Manager. Or no, Championship Manager would have been.
Oh, yeah.
Javier Saviola.
Yeah.
Who was at Barcelona. He was probably one of the players I always watched as a kid.
Okay. Very interesting. 3 different sides. We'll put them up on the screen. Obviously, it'll be good for you guys to put your ones in there. It'll be interesting to see who comes up. But we'll sort of move on to a bit of a different topic to get the whole thing going. We're going to talk about the grassroots football as such. And obviously, Tom being involved within grassroots football, I think it's a good idea to sort of talk it up. And I think with everything that's happening, obviously, COVID has now sort of come in and basically ruined a lot of the seasons. And I believe a lot of them down to basically National League level has all been null and void for the rest of the season now. It is a bit of an interesting topic, and it'd be sort of interesting to hear your thoughts on it, sort of being involved with football at that level and how it's having an impact on your season.
I mean, first of all, it's the right thing to do. I won't get into the whole politics of, why are we at where are we? Why are we where we're at? So it's just massively frustrating. So obviously, I've just started coaching. First year, our team's gone from sort of the laughing stock to challenging for the title, and sod's law, all this happens, and there's just not there's a sense of a lack of direction moving forward. So obviously we had the first lockdown, and it was really hard for me personally to try and keep everyone engaged throughout that time, because it's harder to, well, in my opinion, it's harder to, exercise on your own in comparison to going out with your mates, going for a kickabout, etc. So it was quite hard in that sense. Mentally as well, obviously, that's been quite a big sort of thing during lockdown as well. Mentally keeping the boys all together. Some of them, all they do is football. In terms of a college occupation, so that was quite hard, and then obviously to go back and have a massive weight off of your shoulders, having something to look forward to in the week, and then, as I say, played a couple of games and then we're back here. It's just very frustrating, and I feel, sort of speak for everyone, we sort of feel like we're being strung along. So it would just be nice. I would rather them say now that they're going to cancel the season, they're going to null void the season, just so that there's some sort of communication in place. Because when we got introduced back, we were told on the Thursday that we had a game on the Sunday. So we had no time to train, we had no time to prepare the boys. It was just, right, you're playing this time, and then everyone, it was sort of all systems go. I mean, luckily we've got quite a young side that keep in shape, so it's good for us, but it would have been nice to have got some training beforehand, if that makes any sense.
No, I completely agree with that, and it's one of them things that, like I say, you don't want to get involved in the politics side of things, and I completely agree, it should be stopped. But like I said, it's the lack of communication in a way that's been quite brought up, and I don't know if any of you guys know, obviously Spencer, I think it's Spencer FC, you might understand it from the football YouTube side of things, but they're now doing quite well within the football pyramid, and I think I saw the post of him on Twitter that the league's been cancelled and they have no actual plan, they're just null and voiding it. And obviously for them, I believe they're top of their league by quite some way. Should there not have been a plan put in place for this National League, etc. level, of going by the points per game system, which I believe is highly respected and a shout? And there's another idea, they want to put last season's results and this season's together to come up with a league table. And they're literally just clutching at straws of ideas now of, should this not have been thought about even after looking at what happened last season?
Warren, do you want me to go first, or?
Yeah, you can crack on.
I'll crack on. At the end of the day, whatever they decide, someone's going to be a villain. For speaking about hashtags specifically, they've now been in this position twice where last year it was a lot tighter, but if we're being completely honest, we sort of all secretly knew that had it have been seen out, they would have probably been promoted unless they got something really bad happen. So for them, it's really hard, but at the same time, there's criticisms around all the debate and what should happen. But if you're actually asked the question directly, your whole mindset towards it changes. So, for example, my league, we're top of the league. We're in all the cups. We played a cup game against the team in division above, unbeaten. We beat them. And then to be told potentially that it might be null and voided means that, all the hard work that we put in pre-season training, because we take it quite seriously. We're not just a team that turns up on a Sunday, a group of mates. We train like really hard. We try and make it as professional as we can. We try and give the boys some, professionalism in the game to get them to experience, what it's like and how they should act, etc. So it's really frustrating. But as I say, I have discussions with managers, league representatives, and until you actually ask the question, what would you do, is when your whole perception of it changes. For me personally, I would personally wait and then scrap pre-season and then just play throughout the summer.
Yeah.
Mainly because then that you're not, there's not that constant waiting when the vaccine's rolled out and when it's fully safe. If you carry on from where you left off, that means that there's football throughout the summer. Especially with those conditions, that means it's less likely to be cancelled because of weather. Yeah. So if I was asked, I would probably just carry on where we left off, but I understand it's not that easy.
Yeah. Warren, anything to add to?
It's like anything, obviously, with like National League and everything like that, and obviously if they were going to say it's obviously null and void, which they have, haven't they now?
Yeah. I believe in them leagues it has been null and void.
That like obviously that high up in the league, it must be frustrating when you could obviously get promoted, and from the National League to League Two is obviously it's massive. So it must be frustrating in that, but it's happened to every team in that league. But with Grassroots, even I'm pretty sure Whitney District, they still haven't been told anything of what's happening with the actual league, if it's been scrapped or if it's carrying on after they can return. But I don't think anyone knows really at the moment. And I do agree with Tom, especially over the summer, if there's not like a major tournament of football, it's in the summer it's pretty boring for most people. So I'm sure they would gladly go and play through the summer to get out.
I think that's the aspect of, like you're saying, the getting outside of it. I think for a lot of people, like you said, Tom, is this Sunday league level football it's an escape for a lot of people. And obviously with people who have had mental health issues, etc., you have that one thing that is your passion. Obviously, if like football is something that's passionate for me, it's that way to get out of it. And I think at the moment, what things are in the situation they are, like you said there, if there's no major tournament, etc., is why can't that be a solution? But then it's also is that debate is, can you put the season on hold the way it is?
I mean, the way I see it is if they do play throughout the summer, they're giving, if you're not playing on grass, you're giving opportunities for people like Astros, people who own Astros or, that sort of surface, and opportunities to gain some revenue throughout the summer.
Yeah.
Which could be a sort of added feature because I know, for example, like your local Astro, you get 5-a-side leagues, 6-a-side leagues, you get like social bookings or whatever. If you have that Saturday morning or Saturday afternoon, Sunday morning, Sunday afternoon, where you have that sort of extra revenue or guaranteed sort of use of the facilities, then that way, you can look at it from the angle of the funding that they receive from the government if they do receive it. It could be used for better things and rather not just sort of funding to keep it going. Gives opportunities for, as I say, for teams to sort of make up on lost time and, get out and see everyone, because that's what everyone's missing ultimately. Like, obviously, Charlie, when we spoke last time, I was doing a lot of one-to-ones. I've been asked by a lot of people to carry on doing one-to-ones, but obviously because of the situation, I don't feel comfortable in putting myself in that situation, especially with another person in that situation, purely for the fact that these are very uncertain times. So for me, when I look at it and balance it, there's less negatives towards the summer sort of league. The only thing is obviously the delay of the league and picking up where you left off, but you can't change the results. So it seems the most, don't want to say logical, but the best way for sort of everyone involved, like talking as a collective for everywhere in the country, just feel like it would be, more of an effective way to use summer, which is, traditionally off season, and like other sports come into play. So I think it'd be more useful, basically, what I'm trying to say.
Does it not also then bring up the aspect, there's a lot of, you've seen this season when the league got rushed back, and just talking the Premier League example, is look at Liverpool, for example, the amount of players that are now suffering probably from burnout, getting injuries. Even I could say, from my opinion, Arsenal, look at Aubameyang this season. Personally, to me, he looks tired as hell. He's not been half the player because he hasn't had that break. If you sort of bring that down to this level, I know it's probably different. We're not, I'll say, your typical athletes that train 24/7, but you still have that aspect of, you're saying scrap, like taking away pre-season. Does that then not open up to the amount of injuries, etc., coming into that level as well?
In the grassroots game, it's completely different because we're all just normal people. We're not used to, like, our bodies aren't used to training.
Yeah.
6-7 days a week. We're used to being at work. So I don't think for injuries wise, no, I don't think it will affect the grassroots level. Obviously, you can see, COVID injuries. I mean, look at Villa the other night. Villa played their under-23 side against Liverpool.
Yeah.
And then I think Liverpool the season before had to play their kids against Aston Villa.
Yeah.
So in terms of grassroots, I don't think you'd see a rise in injuries. I think there's more benefit, as I say, there's more benefits to it than not. But for an elite level, then yeah, definitely they would definitely. I mean, I know like the Bundesliga, they have like a winter break.
Yeah,
and that is purely for that reason, to give players an opportunity to spend time with their families, rest and recover.
Yeah.
Because it is ruining the game at the minute. There's I would say, I was going fast. There's the standard of the Premier League is not at where it normally is, and you can definitely tell that there's some sort of decline in teams. I mean, others, people have been using it effectively. There's a lot of teams this year that are around the top 6 that aren't usually in the top 6, whereas you're seeing the likes of City, Arsenal, who are just sort of dropping down the table. So it's affecting people in different ways.
Yeah. I could be like the elite level. It is shown, and it's one of them debates. Is obviously the winter break you put on the Bundesliga. I know the Premier League have implemented that, but I don't know if they've now scrapped that for this season because of the whole situation. It's hard to say. Obviously, you bring in so many comparisons to it, but we're in a time that has never been seen before. And following on from last season, I don't know if the Premier League has a backup plan in case, because the cases obviously going up. I think it was 48 cases today. I think the figures just come up before we started recording this. But are we in a situation where potentially you're going to see a stoppage in the Premier League again, do you think?
Did you see the Sean Dyche interview when I don't know if it was pre-match or post-match after the game, saying about would it be in the interest of the whole country of getting all the Premiership players with the vaccine first, so that they didn't have to keep wasting money on testing each week.
I did see this, yeah. I think he got quite a bit of controversy back from it. In my opinion, Premier League footballers, etc., footballers in general, shouldn't be anywhere near the top of the list of getting the vaccine. At the end of the day, the clubs have got the money to spend. They're making millions, and I think it's a bit of a different topic, but like Arsenal, we've just took a loan out of 120 million. It's a typical Arsenal thing. We always say this, but to me, I don't see why we should have to be in a situation where we're taking a 120 million pound loan out, because of a club of our size, we're making millions anyway. But like I said with the Sean Dyche thing, it's an interesting thing. I can see his point, but it's not something I think should be at top.
He did say that he was saying about he doesn't think the players are more important than anyone else. He was just trying to put the financial situation, but obviously, of what you just said, obviously it did go down too well. I can understand why, but that would probably be a good idea for them, so they don't have to keep spending that much money on testing each week. But obviously, with everyone's opinion,
the thing is, everyone has an opinion. It's going to open up so many avenues. But realistically, on the testing side of things, how much is it costing them for the testing?
The testing must be, well, if they're saying, what was it, we could buy a test for like $250, I think.
Yeah, I think.
If you go to the Boots or something, and you can buy one for about 160 or 250, I think I heard.
Right.
So if you're looking, depending on what the quantity they're using them at, so they must be getting at least three tests a week. So when you look at over 20 teams in the Premier League, it's still quite a lot of money, but it's not going to be Like that, they're not going to go bankrupt, are they?
Sort of itching it. I see it right. He's right in the sense of that is what the fan wants. However, obviously, I didn't realise he said that the bit after Warren where he said that, I'm not saying players are more important. At this moment in time, let's be real. Let's talk the facts. The Premier League broadcasting rights go for 6.5. Is it billion or more than that?
Well, I think that's the last. Obviously, it was a long
6.5 billion.
Yeah, that was the last figures I remember hearing. And they would triple every year. They're going up.
Yeah, I mean, now, right. So, like, just take it. If you dissect it this year, you've got Sky, you've got BT, you've got Prime Video, or Amazon. So you've got more people buying into it each and every year. If there is a stoppage, if you're being sort of one-dimensional and looking at the Premier League, he's right. But if you look at the whole picture, there's, I would, without sounding really, I know this sounds really stupid, but I would rather my nan have a vaccine before Aubameyang. Even though I want Aubameyang to start scoring goals again, if I had to choose between who gets the vaccine, Aubameyang or my nan, I'm obviously going to choose my nan.
Yeah. But then would it be one of those things, if the Premiership offered to buy the vaccine for their players, I don't think anyone, if they could get the stock in, I'm pretty sure no one would have qualms with that. But for saying they can go in front of everyone else to have the vaccine is stupid.
I think, on the contrary, like you're saying, if they offered to buy for it, I think the problem you're then going to bring up is if you've got the money, you can buy a vaccine. You're going to bring up this whole comparison that, oh well, I've got enough money, I can buy it myself. You got to have some form of structure in the way this is going to be dealt with. Without going too much into this, I think we could do a whole episode about freaking COVID, the way it's going. I think me and Thomas spoke about this. Potentially Instagram Live, I think, for this one, because we could do it for a lot longer on there.
Yeah.
But
and then people can just tap in and tap out when they want.
Exactly. And I think
when they get bored, yeah.
I think everyone's bored of hearing the word COVID now. I think I was fed up hearing the word Brexit, but I think COVID's beat that a long way now. But I think for this week, I think that's more than enough topics, etc. I think Tom might become a recurring guest on the show. He's much loved on this end, and I think everyone likes hearing his voice and his wonderful stories. I think there's many more to share.
More about Watford stories.
Was it the suit one or the David Goals?
The suit one.
Well, this is the thing. I rewatched the David Gold's story. I probably shouldn't have said that, but I mean, I don't work for him anymore, and I don't have a bad word to say about him. But I watched it and I was like, oh. But yeah, the suit one. Yeah, honestly, I've never felt more embarrassed in my life.
And I think there's many stories. And Tom,
thank you very much.
This will be out on Friday, but I think we're going to do an Instagram Live potentially before this comes out. So if you haven't seen it already, go onto our Instagram, check it out. Tom's socials will be below. I'll have his coach TJ. If you need a coach, I highly recommend Tom from playing football with him. One-to-one sessions will be much needed. I think I'll have to book in a few when I actually can again.
Good lads. That's what we like.
Obviously for this week, thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.
See ya.